Willie, just sort of reflecting on last season refereeing in Scotland going into the new season, how did you feel last season went, and what are the aims and improvements you're looking for into the coming season?
Obviously, we had many good decisions last season. We also had areas for improvement. You know, it's the same. We're the same as any club. Every club will identify areas for improvement, but overall, we were happy with the progress we made in developing our referees and developing our match officials generally. But also, we realise there's still areas for improvement, and we'll continue to work hard to strive for that excellence moving forward.
We've looked at some of the law changes coming in, the 8-second rule for goalkeepers. How much of an impact do you feel that will have on the game in Scotland?
We think it will make the game much quicker because the goalkeepers now are under pressure to release the ball. We've prepared the referees tactically for that as well, forgetting just about the decision making, the 8 seconds and punishing it. We also know there'll be a lot of shorter balls at times in and around the penalty area. We need our referees to be well prepared for that. But it's like any rule change, the clubs are aware of it. We've spoken to a lot of goalkeeper coaches who are saying they've already been coaching it, working at it. So we don't think we'll see a great amount of issues with that. We know that in the League Cup so far, we've not encountered any issues with it at all. It's not been punished once. So we'd hope that would continue throughout the season. We'll be proactive as well in working with the goalkeepers with that.
And one of the notable aspects you mentioned about that is that you don't expect VAR to get involved with any of that at all?
No, that's right. The VAR should never be involved in that. That's out with the protocol for the VAR. It's for that kind of decision involving the goalkeeper, it should be the on-field match officials only. We don't expect any involvement for the VAR.
Can I ask you about VAR in general? There's still a lot of fans who are a bit frustrated with it, the delays, maybe the communication, understanding why some decisions are made at the time. How do you see the progress you've made with VAR, and where do you want to improve it in the current season?
We think we've made big steps in terms of VAR. We've been very well supported by the Scottish FA and the clubs because we now have a VAR manager in place, Martin Atkinson, very experienced, former top referee in England, UEFA, FIFA. So he's brought a lot to us in terms of communication, not only our on-field communication, but communication in the video operations room, and you know, the VAR and the AVAR working together with each other. So we're really working hard to make sure that our processes are right, first and foremost, and we're obviously learning from any errors we made, you know, and trying to improve the whole time. Yesterday we spent time with the top match officials in the country, and we brought 2 aviation experts to talk to the referees about their comms in the VAR and how they should be looking at incidents, you know, in that environment, very similar to the cockpit, a high pressure environment, life or death for pilots. People might say life or death for football as well, but obviously that same pressure, kind of pressure environment. How do you communicate? How do you keep your composure? How do you take cognizance of what the situation is showing, what you're seeing? So these are all elements we're looking to make. We're pushing forward to make improvements in VAR.
How were the aviation guys received by the referees?
Really, really well. We felt it was a really good presentation. We felt it's helped a lot our communication, our processes, and also about the calmness. You know, it's really, really important to be calm in that environment. You know, look at the wider environment, look at what you're seeing, not to be going down any tunnels, and also pilot, co-pilot, VAR, AVAR, we know the responsibilities that both have.
And it is one of the keys for you, maybe with referees, to go and make an informed decision on what they see rather than a supposition of what they think that they've seen?
Absolutely, think's a key word there. We want there to be factual evidence before we reach any conclusion, you know. We want to be able to show that. We don't want any referees thinking about something or, you know, maybe. We want to be quite clear about it.
Just on Martin's introduction, and he's obviously been working for the past few months, how beneficial do you think that's been for yourself and for the referees here in Scotland?
So he's here as a VAR manager. He's brought certainly a lot to that role, but he's got extensive experience, so we don't just keep him with the VAR room. He deals with all the match officials, particularly the top match officials, in a coaching sense. He's in stadiums at time watching them. The referees have taken to him. He's been really, really good. He's got good connections, good contacts in terms of the clubs as well. We've been very transparent about what he's working on, what I'm working on, and it's a real good team effort, and that's a significant move for us that's brought a lot to us, enhanced our professionalism without a doubt as well.
Just on yourself, obviously changing from a referee, you've been in this role now for a good while. What are the biggest changes you've noticed in yourself in that time, moving from a referee to upstairs and having to manage the referees?
Maybe I've aged 10 years or so. I think it's about, you know, I used to only worry about my game. Now I worry about everybody, but it's important that I'm able to see things stepping away from the pitch. You know, I've no time to miss the pitch as an individual. but I see all the areas we need to look at. I'm like a dog with a bone in terms of the coaching we're delivering, in all the areas we want to improve on. But I think my experience has stood me in good stead, being in the pitch, refereed at the top level. Martin Atkinson exactly the same, and that's important. Then we know what's expected to be a top referee. Doesn't mean people think we were good referees, but we know what it is to say to be a top referee, and we're trying to take that to the referees, enhance their knowledge, improve them. I've been quite open with the referees, I've said it to the media as well. We're on a journey to excellence. We're striving to make Scottish refereeing the best it can be.
Can I just ask, what's the difference in refereeing? What does a referee need that's different from when you started out, and what are the key differences in officiating that you've seen in your time within the game?
When I was coming through as a referee, there was two key important things. You needed to know the laws of the game, and you needed to be fit, or certainly have a certain level of fitness. Now there's a lot of concepts in terms of modern refereeing. Do you have a football understanding? Do you have tactical awareness of how teams are playing? Are you looking at the small details, because small details are important? Are you thinking about where your next problem's coming from? Are you thinking about what the next move would be, what the next decision would be? We've changed the fitness test, for example, this season, much more aligned to what happens on a football pitch. We've moved away from run a running track to single, double, single on a pitch, because that's more what referees do on a pitch in a weekend. We're trying all these things as modern refereeing concept to think the laws of the game and fitness are a given now. It's all the other things you need: football understanding, that ability to be able to think your feet about what next. I think the best players know what's coming next, and the referees should be the same.
You've had a presentation today, you've taken it around the clubs, every club in Scotland had a chance to be present at it. How have you found the feedback from players, coaches, and how is that process kind of helping the standard of refereeing and the actual football product as well?
It's been really good. We've made good connections with, for example, the PFA. We want a lot more dealings with players, coaches, managers. They're key stakeholders for us. We want to hear their voice. That's important. We've gone and presented to them. We don't just say this is what's happening, here's what we're doing. We've asked them for feedback. We've even adjusted some of our pre-season guidelines because of the feedback we've had from clubs. But I've definitely built up good relationships with them. They're important for us. We need to listen to their voice. We want to work together with them. That's crucial. And I hope they're able to see through the transparency, through being open, through the discussions with them, they're also seeing that for our side.
You look forward to a few phone calls on Monday morning next week?
Everybody thinks that my phone rings off a hook on a Monday. Normally there's just a few phone calls, but also when people call us about decisions, we're very open, we're very transparent. But there's no any point in just telling somebody we got something right or wrong. There needs to be reasons behind it, or what we're looking to do to improve, what the coaching will be. And I think the managers, the coaches have been receptive to hearing the kind of explanations.
Do you feel as though managers have welcomed the transparency that you've tried to implement across the last season?
Yeah, I feel that, and I feel that I've built up good relationships with them, and understanding. I think they also see we want to understand things, not just about refereeing decisions, about team tactics. People think when referees talk about team tactics, we think who are the players that might dive, who are the players that will surround us and cause us problems. We're talking here about, do I need to be ready for a long ball, a short ball? How is a team going to defend at corners? Where does my focus need to be? So I think we're also, when we're engaging with coaches and managers, we're hearing a lot of insight into that as well. They're hearing a lot about referees. So I think it's been well received at both sides.